Mr. Brown Mogotsi's interview leaves a lot to be desired. So I thought to myself, let me not waste much of your time. Let's just jump straight into it. So he goes into SABC. In an interview, he's being asked about how come do you have information that an ordinary citizen who's not a member of South African Police Service shouldn't have that information. First of all, the first question that the journalist asked was, are you a police officer? His answer was, I am not a police officer. Right. Then he goes on to justify that by saying, you know what, I have underground experience. That word, underground experience. You see, that's where I first said to myself, wait a minute. Hemuna, what are you saying? Having underground experience, does it then gives you right to privilege information of the South African Police Service? Are you justifying the position of the of sensitive document or classified information as General Shadrack Spear General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi will say? Well, the man seems to I don't know, he seems to be saying things that I don't really understand. He then says the timing of the press conference. The press conference, to those that have forgotten, happened on the 6th of July 2025. It was Sunday. He then said that the timing of that press briefing was off. We said why? Because he says, no, it was off because that press briefing came after those group of people, crime intelligence members, including Khumalo, were arrested. So he's marrying everything to that. And I'm saying, by the way, Mkhwanazi addressed that could it be that senior police members are targeted? Well, I've got a video that I want you to listen because I'm perplexed by the interviewer Brown Mogotsi. Very perplexed. But listen to this.
On the 26th of January 2025, Mr. Brown Mogotsi sent a message to the Minister of Police, Senzo Mchunu, which reads as follows, I quote, "The guy of the funding in bracket 20 is also in Joburg from Tuesday. He is the one I said has a 3 billion contract with SAPS." Close quote. Open quote again, another message. "I am also meeting with the DNC and the COS today." Now, in the abbreviation, the DNC in the South African Police Service is referred to as the Deputy National Commissioner. And the COS will be, in this regard, the Chief of Staff. He says, "I'm also meeting with the DNC and Chief of Staff today in Durban for finalization of Khumalo and General Mkhwanazi's matter." Close quote. Another message reads, "DNC is waiting for the Chief of Staff here. This is very significant." Close quote. This is extracted from the communication of the arrested person. So we ask ourselves a question. Is there a theory of conspiracy targeting senior officers involving the Minister of Police in this country?
After the confusion that I have, I couldn't help but continue with the interview, and I heard the man speaking about the arrest of these people in the press conference, and then I was like, okay. What you are trying to tell us is that The reason Mkhwanazi had that press briefing, it is simply because of that. So you were trying to create a narrative. That's number one. Two, he then says he does not understand how Lushaba became a major general at his age because he was born in 1993. He says, I mean, there are people who are reporting to him because he's a major general. There are brigadiers who are all in the South African Police Service who still report in him. And I said to myself, wait. Are you saying he skipped or he got promoted out of favors? I don't know. But when you look at what he was trying to do there, he was trying to say, red flag number 2, focus on Lushaba. Lushaba is a close associate of Abu Mkhwanazi. That's what he was trying to say. 3, he then tells us about the fact that the same Lushaba brought a girl, and when he woke up, that girl had vanished with a state laptop and cell phone. He then went and opened a case of robbery, and there was some cover-up out of look. After that, I think the story that story is true. We know the story. So he said that, and he then, as he's saying that, point number 4, he goes as far as now telling us that it was docket 38. And I'm like, wait, you and I do not know that information. How come you know police information? Hey, I think that interview shouldn't have happened. And then he says, then the interviewer asks him, do you confirm that you have access to privileged information that belongs to the South African Police Service? He says, no. Information comes to me. There are questions he refused to answer in between. Many of them. He kept saying, in the right platform. But I'm looking at everything that the man did here. And I said to myself, well, one thing that I think it is important to note is the fact that for me, or to me, at least it appears like he was there to expose Mkhwanazi and his team. He was there to sway the narrative, shift the narrative. 3, I have a problem with the fact that he couldn't answer questions. But it's not an interview. Why did you accept the interview then? Because you knew you were going to be asked questions. I mean, let me give an example. If my wife dies in my premises, or even if she dies in Durban, police have a right to come and ask me any question about my wife. I should be prepared to answer question as to, this basic knowledge that they want to know. How she left the house, if maybe let's say she dies in Durban. How she left the house, when she left the house, what was she going, was there any problem? Those are basic questions. So when a police comes to me and say, let's have a conversation, you should be prepared for such. Such is what the man should have done. Prepare yourself for the questions. If you are not willing to answer these questions, then don't come to an interview. What are you doing in an interview if you're not willing to answer those questions? You should not be there. I don't understand why he went there, because he did not answer even those simple questions. Now, to show that whatever he was doing there did not have an impact, I was looking at the reaction. Nobody cares about him. Everybody cares about the fact that we want you down. Now, he speaks and he proves that he's got the privilege. We know that he's close to Matlala. But in the previous video, I've just proven that Matlala is in charge of the Metropolis Egurulen. I am saying, I wonder if the man has not gotten himself into more complications. Because that interview, it was premature. I think lawyers would have advised him not to do that interview. But I think he would have said, no, I want to go. Hoping that he was going to sway the narrative. But I can tell you now, I'm not convinced. I think it was just a waste of time. You're telling me about Lushaba? The cell phone, the state, what that went missing, we know about that. You are telling the truth there. We know about that. We heard about that. But it doesn't change the fact that you are found with state information, West Part classified state information. You need to explain that. How do you get involved with the South African Police Service? How did you penetrate the intelligence department? You're gonna have a hard time, my brother, explaining this. I'm gonna tell you this. In those proper platforms you are talking about, you're gonna have a hard time explaining that. I can't wait for that. Because if you are going to say to us, it's not because of the minister, then it's because of who. You're gonna have to show us and prove to us that when you have access to this thing because of so and so. But unfortunately, even the person that would have been named when you would have told us, unfortunately, that person must be arrested too. You know why? Because number one, those people are trained to keep secret, trained, and they sign certain contract that involves non-disclosure, and they explain the terms and conditions of non-disclosure. There you are, you have those information, such a crucial information, classified documents are in your hands. Are you trained? No. Did you sign a non-disclosure? No. Did you take an oath that you will never share the secret of the state? No. But you go on a television, you incriminate yourself that you have that. It's like you are saying to us, you became a judge without first getting the training, secondly, signing the closures, because even judges, they sign something, non-disclosure. 3, you did not even take an oath, but you presided over people's cases without the proper platform, proper channels that authenticate your work. In other words, let me just make it make sense to you. There was a lawyer in Kenya who was practicing and won cases without practicing because he did not take an oath. He did not sign some non-disclosure with the legal body as a Kenya. He was never tried. He didn't take an oath, never signed disclosure. He was never trained. That alone means he does not abide by the code of conduct which governs such profession. I'm asking myself, if you go on national television and you agree, you confirm that you do have the secrets of state, what you have just done here is, you must tell us that when you are a hacker, so you must be arrested for hacking the state system. But if you are not a hacker, somebody gave you that information, you and that person, but that person, you said is not a minister, this person must be arrested for leaking the information that he signed that he will not leak. So what this man have just done, he's bringing a whole lot of people down with him. In trying to defend the minister, he will have to show us who gave you that information. So if you are saying when you did not get that information through somebody, then you hacked the system, then you must be arrested for hacking the system. The man has just called for prison, jail, unnecessary. That interview was not necessary. Shouldn't have done that interview on SAPC. He should not have done that interview. But okay, I'm not a lawyer. Take everything that I said with a pinch of salt because I'm not a lawyer. But I can tell you this from just the human basic psychology, logic, if you want. It tells me that for me to be able to carry the secrets of state, I must, one way or the other, I must have been trained, signed, or taken an oath that I will never, ever, ever share such secrets, no matter what. I will die with it. How come such classified information is found in the hands of an individual who has done none of the three above mentioned things? How come? And worst part, he will never now lie and say he didn't. Nkwana proof, he himself has now confirmed. So he's never going to lie to us and say he didn't. I'm waiting to see his lawyers defending him, because he went on the national television. Shouldn't have taken that interview, because also he's not willing to answer some of the questions that we have.